The galaxy thought it understood predators. Claws, fangs, hunger, all of it biological, all of it bounded by flesh. But in the silence between galaxies, in the dark where even starlight fears to travel, something older drifted. The ancients named them void predators, colossal horrors that hunted not for food but for existence itself. Whole fleets vanished in their shadow. Worlds went dark with no survivors. Even the Aza whispered their name like a curse. And when the void predators came again, the galaxy learned a truth stranger still. The only species that didn't go mad at the sight of them were humans. We studied them for millennia, and never once endured their gaze. Even the briefest glimpse sent prey instincts into overdrive. Our scholars gibbered. Our leaders wept. Entire research stations self-destructed to deny the void things a foothold. Then the humans arrived. I watched the feed from relay station Kesh. The void writhed, a blackness with edges that bent wrong. Teeth that weren't teeth, wings that might have been dimensions folded inward. The station screamed. The feeds flickered. Every caution present dropped convulsing under psychic rupture, except the humans. They staggered. Yes. They vomited. Yes. One even laughed, hysterical, ragged. But they kept moving. They dragged our limp bodies into shielded bunkers. They set turrets to fire at a thing that weapons should not harm. And one of them, eyes red from crying, whispered into the seen worse. We can adapt. Worse? What could possibly be worse? When I first looked at it, I nearly broke. The void had a voice. Not words, not really, but suggestions. Fall, kneel, submit. I remembered the ocean back home, the way the waves tried to drag me under, salt in my throat, sun just out of reach. I remembered fire in trenches, smoke choking me, the fear that I'd never breathe clean air again. And I remembered standing up anyway. Humans are prey to many things: fire, famine, drowning, one another. We survived by learning to live with fear, to carry it. The void clawed at my mind. But all I felt was an old companion dread. I'd danced with it before. I could do so again. We called it not void horror but contact stress. And once you name a thing, you can fight it. We are no predators. We are predators. But the void things, they do not kill for hunger. They kill for absence. Even my blood ran cold. And yet I saw the humans rally. Their weapons scarred the dark hide. Their pilots rammed drones into its many mouths. They screamed battle cries not to intimidate. The thing could not hear, but to remind themselves they were alive. I saw one human ship crippled. Rather than drift into the maw, they detonated their reactor, laughing over open comms. You don't get to eat us that easy. The shockwave tore half the void thing's appendage into vapor. If sacrifice as a weapon, madness as armor, it terrified me. It thrilled me. After the battle, the humans gathered data. They didn't cower, didn't demand quarantines. They watched recordings frame by frame, eyes watering, jaws clenched. We'll get used to it, one said. Get used to it. The void burned sanity like dry paper. How could you get used to madness? But then I remembered, humans live with death every day. They write stories of monsters. They invent horror for fun. They expose themselves to fear deliberately, building tolerance where other species collapse. Perhaps the void was not their doom. Perhaps it was their natural environment. Second contact was worse. The thing came larger, hungrier. Our allies froze again. But we had practiced. We blasted white noise across comms, heavy metal riffs, chaotic drum beats, anything loud enough to drown the whispers. We wore visors filled with shifting fractals, vaccines for the eyes. The void tried to bend our minds, but we bent back. And then came the tactic no one expected. Humor. We mocked the thing, called it squid face, teeth for days, overgrown nightmare pancake. Every joke was a shield. Every laugh was defiance. The void recoiled as if confusion itself was poisoned. For the first time in history, a void predator retreated. The chamber was silent. Reports laid bare the impossible. Humans had fought the void and lived. More, they had driven it back. The elder Colchians called them mad. The fossil called them unstable. Even the Aza admitted envy. But I, a trembling scholar, stood and said the truth. Humans are not prey. They are not predators. They are Where the void erases, they rewrite. Where the void terrifies, they laugh. Where the void devours, they endure. The council trembled, not with fear of the void, but with fear of what humans might become by staring into it too long. The void will come again. It always does. It has fed for eons on silence and weakness. But now, when it whispers in the dark, it will hear us whisper back. Jokes, songs, screams, whatever it takes. We are not stronger than the void. We are not braver. But we are something the void cannot comprehend. We are adaptable, and if the void wants to consume us, it will find itself choking on a species that refuses to break.